to the Christian View, where we are discussing a very hard topic, sexual harassment. And the first segment, we talked about incest, how it begins in the home at a very young age. But this segment, we're going to go more once that child gets into the classroom, outside of the home, and actually in the classroom. Lee, you are so familiar with the education system. In 2014, 781 reported cases, and it's on the rise due to two things: social media and text messaging. That has just provided an open gateway now for teachers and students.
Yes. And I just, really feel like, when you think about this, teachers, we're taught as educators that you are operating in loco parentis, meaning that you are in the place of the parent. Yeah. And many times teachers forget that role and that aspect, and they allow boundaries to be expanded too far. And when you expand boundaries too far, you let your guard down. And I know it's kind of hard for me, and I'm just being honest, to say or try to understand how someone could be attracted to a child. Right. But we know that attraction, the law of attraction, doesn't really know boundaries. So therefore, a lot of times, to me, attraction derives from a need a person has in their life for something that they're not receiving. And for whatever reason, they find it in the wrong person. And when we find adults finding it in children and taking advantage and saying that, oh, well, I love him, and, it was willful and consentful, it's very hard for us to really understand,
From a
that
child,
level.
anyway.
Yes,
Right.
Well, they say hurting people hurt people, and you can't understand the mind or the heart of another person.
True.
We've got to educate people, but we can't understand the way.
I've never heard that. Hurting people hurt people.
Yes,
So you wonder how many of these teachers that are showing their power over these young kids comes from their own child abuse in their family.
They were molested as a child or something. There's some wound inside of them.
I remember one of the worst episodes I had when I was a school administrator was the counselor came to me, and long story short, one of the young ladies was telling about her brother was messing with her sister, and then when you see these different things, it in turns, it just kind of spirals, where the other person starts messing with the other person. And then when we found out who the adult was in the situation that got it all started, it was someone that was in the school that had started messing with the brother first, then it just became a perpetual cycle, just going down the line. Yes. So it really is.
How about teachers offer students special credit?
Well, exactly. You end up spending all that time.
No,
you end up spending all that time.
Teachers on the phone.
There's a lot of the texting. But you end up spending a whole lot of time with somebody, and you have that belonging. You have those pseudo connections that begin to occur, and you start getting what you're looking for, what you need, or what you perceive, or what your flesh tells you that needs to happen from the wrong kind of person, and you don't have the power within yourself to say no to that.
But wait a minute. Did you have trouble in school? I didn't have trouble with a teacher in school, did you?
I had a situation
I never saw anything like that.
I had a situation in college where an administrator offered to change he was married, offered to change my grades if I would have a relationship with him. And you remember those things. But it's, like you said, it's hurting people. But I think what we need to do is we need to educate our children.
They got to speak up.
And we got to be blunt about it. We got to say, okay, if someone offers to change your grade for sexual favors, we've got to be that plain about it.
Right.
You report it. You let us know. You tell us. If somebody's touching you inappropriately at school, that is not okay.
It's not okay.
Yeah. Making you feel
But we've got to be
Have you talked to your son about this at school? Who's in the school system?
We do. I do. And what he does on Facebook, or he's not on Facebook, but what he does on his phone.
Right.
Be careful.
Exactly. It starts before that. It's a term called grooming. Have you heard of that? And it's very important. Parents should really look into that term because it's a little more direct, where the predator will single the child out and then they start grooming them by taking them into their confidence. Ultimately, what they're trying to do is gain the trust of that child and then have enough information on the child to blackmail them when the act actually occurs. They will threaten the child and make them feel fear to report it because, look, you showed me pictures of your, private, whatever, even if it's just something simple, but they have something over the child.
Remember years ago that female teacher, the first time I really heard about it, we had the relationship with her, 13-year-old student? She was married. They had a child together. went to prison,
jail, got
come
out of jail,
out, and got back with him
with him
again.
Right, and then they got married,
Yes.
the whole thing, and it
Crazy.
continues. But see, again, there has to be something, a consequence that causes you to at least think about it. But I think what has happened in society is that now the sexual aspect of life is so prevalent and so okay, no matter what it is.
Well, I think
that
it's not even people
looked
don't
at.
have healthy boundaries, and when you can just walk into a local school right now, and I'm not blaming, but sometimes as adults we have to assume our role as an adult. You can go into a local high school, and some of the teachers are dressed just as loose as the kids. It's hard to tell who's
But
the
again,
adult.
Lee, we
And
need to
then-
make sure our kids are dressed right when they go to school
True,
too.
yes.
Because some of these parents send those kids off to school.
Right.
Oh
Provocative,
my
yes.
gosh.
Do you remember me sending an article to you many
I
months
do.
ago? It may have been last
I
year.
do.
And it was about teachers who have been prosecuted
Yes.
Yes.
for
Yes.
sexual molestation, sexual harassment.
Right.
Well, when I pulled the article up on the internet, I thought it would be just one or two
No, it
mug
happens
shots.
so much
It
here in
was
the state of Georgia.
hundreds and
All the
hundreds. Do
time.
you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Yes.
And the more I look and the more I read, it just broke my heart.
781
Yeah.
in 2014.
Yes.
It's
We're
also
here.
people hardening their hearts
Yes.
to
Yeah.
sin. So we don't call sin what we used to call sin, and so now people are, oh, it's okay.
Right.
I'm just going to
But
do
just
what I want to
recently-
do.
And it
We
creeps
recently had
closer
one
and closer.
last week. The student and orchestra teacher basically has laid down his whole career because of sexual experiences with students, and they found out a lot of it was happening at the school.
That's
during
right.
school
That's
hours.
right. Stay with us.
Yes.
When we come back, we're going to get on into sexual harassment in the workplace. We'll be right back.